was just jamming to our intro.
For real.
There, okay. What's up, ladies? How is everybody doing?
Doing
good on this
well.
good
Doing awesome.
day.
Good.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, feeling
Well,
blessed.
Right?
okay.
Always.
Always feeling blessed. Okay, let me make sure this light is a little brighter on me. Sorry about that. But listen, to our viewers, thank you guys so much for joining us. Okay, coming back for another link up with the Ladies First panel. We do have a special guest in the house that we will be interviewing and get to knowing more about. All right, so let's go ahead and pop them right on into the screen. Okay, what's going on, nephew Tommy? What's up?
Hey,
What's
how
going
y'all
on?
doing? I'm good. How y'all doing? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having
Thank you for
us.
joining.
You know, we with you. You know what up? We with you.
Exactly.
I'm grateful and blessed.
Awesome. That
Always.
word blessed is definitely going around. We like to hear it,
That's right.
especially during these times. Definitely like to hear it. Well, we won't waste any time. We're going to go ahead and hop right on into it. Okay, let's go ahead and get this thing started. So what I wanted to know is with Ready to Love, we know we've seen you on, as a comedian on the Steve Harvey show, and now you're doing Ready to Love on the OWN network. And my question is, how did you and Will Packer connect for you guys to, come up with this show and for you to be the host of it?
Oh my God, me and Will met years ago. When I've been on the Steve Harvey Morning Show going on close to 20 years now, and we met. He was coming through. He was pushing a movie. And, we just kind of stayed connected. And then later on, Will, I hosted the Essence Festival for 7 years. So Will came to me at one of the Essence Festivals and says, hey, I want to do something on stage. He says, and you're the man. I need to get your permission. I was like, well, what do you want to do? And he wanted to ask his girl, Heather, to marry him right there on the Essence stage. And I was like, oh, you ready for that? This is like 80,000 people out there, brother. He's like, I'm ready, Tommy. This is it. I said, okay. So I just gave him my stage, let him have it. He dropped down on one knee, asked Heather to marry him. The rest is history. And, we always kept in touch. And he said, hey, man, one day we're going to work together. And, in Hollywood, you always hear that. One day we'll work together. I have my people call your people, all that. And I was like, I never paid any attention to it. And then he called me and said, I got a job for you. And I was like, come on, Will, don't play with me. He said, no, I really got a job. I thought it was prank phone call because, everybody's always trying to prank me because I'm always pranking everybody. And he says, no, Tommy, I got a new show called Ready to Love. It's going to be on the Oprah Winfrey Network. And you're the man. I want you to host my show. And I just dropped to my knees and cried like a baby. And, he had heard that how long I've been with my wife and the history and everything. And he said, you are perfect for this. And I said, okay. And, oh my God, I'm looking up now and we're shooting 5, 6, whatever you want to call it. We're in the middle of it. So, God is good, man.
Yes. Look, we love to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So piggybacking off of that, what has the experience been like? Because it's been like 4 seasons, I believe. So what has that been like for you as the host?
You know what? It's been good. It's been eye-opening, to see what people are going through, what they're missing, what they're trying to get to. You got a lot of people that have been married, gotten divorced. You got people who have been career driven, and just to see that they're really, really missing love, but they want it and the desire is there. But how they've been going about it, trying to get it, is really, they've been going the wrong way. So my job when they come on this journey is for me to find out what you've been doing so we don't keep doing that, because whatever you've been doing, that has not been working. So let's figure out a different avenue, a different route to get you to love. And it's a great experience to be the, I never thought I would be a love doctor or, a Cupid per se, trying to get you to your loved one. But it's a good fit. I like it. And I think I'm getting some people there. There's gonna be some knuckleheads along the way. That happens. Y'all been watching the show. You see something like, okay, what's wrong with him and her? But for the most part, the journey has been good for me. Even as the host, the journey's been good.
That's great. I love the show so much. As you mentioned, having people unlearn things. I was like, you know what? Every time I watch the show, I'm like, I know this person that should go on there, that person. I love how relative it is.
Yep.
But my question is, what is the difference between the Tommy we get on the Steve Harvey show versus Nephew Tommy that we get on Ready to Love?
Oh, good question. All right, so what you get in the morning is just straight foolery. You know, that's just ignorance to the 10th power. That's what that is. That's who Nephew Tommy is. Okay. Now, when you tune in Friday night, you get Thomas Miles. That's a different person. You know, and I think a lot of people, you know, they hear me in the mornings, and you've been hearing me for all these years, and you just think, oh my God, he's just a clown, he's just a fool, not knowing that you know, I'm a thespian. So I take whatever job it is, and I make sure I fit into that job. So I take everything completely seriously. So no matter where you put me, I'm going to fit in. So if you throw me over in the middle of Shakespeare, then it's going to be or not to be. That is the question. Whether just be open the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing in them, see, a fool can't do that. You gotta understand.
Come on, Shakespeare.
Okay.
You know, so
You
you gotta
understand the assignment.
you gotta know the assignment. You gotta know what the role is. So in the morning, the role is to be straight ignorant, straight crazy, straight fool, and be the sidekick of Steve Harvey. So you have to know that role. Friday night, I'm your love doctor. I'm Cupid. I'm the guy that's gonna try to strategize and help you find love, because that's what you're really looking for.
Or as I like to call you now, Uncle Tommy.
I'm good with that.
Right.
It definitely feels like Uncle
I
Tommy
do
now.
that too.
I was
do.
driving home, and I'm like, I want to ask, can we ever transition from Nephew Tommy to Uncle Tommy? Because you know
what?
it's a distinguishment in that. You know,
I like that. And we go to Uncle Tommy, then Uncle Tommy need his own radio show, and then hello,
Okay.
that's something different now.
See, here we
Okay.
go.
So
Okay.
I mean, all in God's time.
all in time. And trust me, that me and God didn't talk about that one. So be ye ready for that.
Claim it.
So speaking of you on the radio show, we know that you are the prank king.
Right.
Is there any prank in your head that lives rent free that you like? You know what? That was the craziest prank for one reason or the other. What's the most memorable? What's the prank you remember the most of all your prank calls?
Can I have your kidney? That right there. That's me calling. I'm a deacon at the church, and I called this guy because he's getting ready to have surgery, and they're working on another organ, and I'm praying, but I'm praying and asking God to lay hands on his kidney, and he stops me in the middle of prayer and says, hold on, deacon. Ain't nothing wrong with my kidney. They working on my pancreas. I said, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because since you're gonna be laying there and they're gonna be having you open, and they're gonna be doing surgery on you, do you mind if they reach around and grab one of your kidneys? Because I need one. And he immediately cusses me smooth out. But you know what? What makes it more memorable is that when my father passed away in 2015, and his favorite prank was that particular prank, can I have your kidney? And he made me record it on a CD over and over, so it would fill up. That one prank would fill up the whole CD, so he can just ride around in his truck and just listen to that the whole time. So that's what makes that more memorable for me.
That's what's up. That's support. Some people won't even download their child little song, honey. Your daddy done sat up there and downloaded your whole comedy prank. We love to hear that as well. So with you being on the OWN network, you also share, the same network as Love and Marriage Huntsville. Right. And Martell Holt called into you all show earlier this year. He did the strawberry letter because he ended up cheating on his wife, ended up having an outside child. I wanted to know your thoughts about that situation with a married man having an outside child, and what accountability should look like.
I mean, you got to own up to it. There is no ducking and dodging. It's done. You did it. You got to own up to it. You got to ask forgiveness, not only from your wife, but from God as well. And hopefully try to get your life back in order. There's no lying about it. It is what it is. And you got to own up and say, you know what? I've made some incredible mistakes. I hope you can forgive me. I hope I can get the help I need, so I don't fall down the wrong path again. You just gotta own all the way. That's when we say man up. You just gotta man up. And if you can keep your family, if you can keep your wife, then so be it. And that's the biggest task that you're gonna be up against is can I hold on to my family? Have I made such a crazy mistake that I'm going to lose it all? And I don't think any man wants to lose that. I know I don't. I don't want to ever be in a situation like that. I'm not going to be in no situation like that. That's not happening.
Period.
So I just, I don't throw rocks at anybody. All I can say is how I can help and what my advice can be to get you to the other side of the drama that you're going through. And I think you got to first ask for forgiveness. You got to have a long conversation with your wife and see, can you all get past this as a couple? And if that's a possibility, then so be it. Then you gotta hold her up on the pedestal for being able to still walk by your side and be with you. So it is what it is. You got to man up on it.
Would y'all be on the same network? When he called in, were you familiar with the story based on working with OWN, or was it like it
was a bit of a shocker to me because I did not know the whole story. And so it was a bit different.
He's like, what?
Whoa. It was a bit different to catch. But come on, brother. Just let's try to get to the other side. This is gonna be hard. I mean, you think about stuff like I don't know. Remember we were watching, we all have watched it, when you watch Fences, and Troy comes home with a new baby. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa. And it takes a real woman to be able to take this baby and raise that child and say, okay, we're gonna get through this. That's a hell of a Black woman right there. So I just take my hat off to anybody and I don't think it's we're talking about a guy going through this, but I think it's been on both sides. It's happened on both sides in different relationships where we've seen it. I've seen it both.
Listen, I have a family. I can think of a family member right now. Both of them have outside children within their family, and everybody, you put your stuff aside for the kids. If they decide to stay together, those kids are all together. Like they're adults now. Everybody's like 40 something years old now, and everybody hangs together, and they're sisters. So.
Listen. When I used to go and spend a lot of time at my grandmother's house in Houston, Texas, I had no idea. Used to sit on the kids at that time. We would sit on the front porch and listen to old folks talk. You know what I mean? And that would and they would make us leave because they didn't want us to hear what they were talking about. But I used to be so engulfed in listening to old people talk, and then you would hear how the lady down the street. That's such and such boy. That ain't Wayne's baby. You're like, what? I'd be playing with the little boy. Now, in my mind, I'd be like, that is not Mr. Wayne's baby.
Child, listen. I could think of something just like that right now that I was like, excuse, and then you were like, you know what? You right. Look just like that damn thing.
Yes. That's how it goes.
And that's happened. And that's happened a lot in the Black community, especially, in the 60s, 70s. That took place a lot.
Yes. Well, switching gears, because we're gonna circle back around. It's a mess.
Come on.
But switching gears, the cast mates. How did you guys go about finding the cast this season, and how did you pick the singles?
You know what? I actually come in on the tail end of that. So by the time I approach the show, it's time for lights, camera, action. So as far as the, who they're going to cast and who they're not going to cast, all I know is they're going through an incredible type of background check. That's the most important thing to me. Is let's make sure everybody is legit, and we don't have somebody got a slew of records that we don't know anything about. But when I get to them, they have chosen those 20 singles. And that's when I'm able to navigate through and see what's left. Here's what we got. Who do I see matching up? Who do I see is gonna make it, not gonna make it? And I'm telling you, I have the eye where I'm able to put my eye on somebody and say, you're gonna be gone the first day. I can tell already. This person right here is the person that's gonna last throughout the whole journey. She's gonna find her somebody, or he's gonna find him someone. So I'm able to pinpoint it. But to answer your question, as far as picking, I'm on the tail end of it. I'm there when they're ready to turn the lights on and say, Tommy, we got our 20. We're ready to go.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of backgrounds, every season has its clowns. I'm not gonna name who I think the clown is, but every season has its clowns. A lot of the viewers consider them production plants or actors. So, what do you think about that?
No, are you serious?
It's very
Yes.
serious.
No,
They said it all the time in our comment
Absolutely.
section.
no,
Mhm.
no. That
Absolutely.
I promise you, that's no game. It's the clown just comes out, and you don't even know. You just don't know who the clown gonna
Clown.
be. But trust me, there's always one that's gonna show up and show out, and you just sitting there looking at them like, "Are you serious right now?" And I know what y'all talk about because right now y'all looking at Corey like, "What the hell is wrong with him? What is wrong
Yes.
with this boy?" And
Say
Corey, I
again.
love him to death. He's a member of my fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. But I be looking at Corey like, man, we need to talk. It's something wrong with you, Corey.
I said Troy ran so Corey could walk. Okay, back to back.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
For
We
sure,
see
I
them
agree.
as the
Yes,
same.
same person.
When I tweeted, because he actually tweeted me, I was like, "So you didn't see Troy last season? Did you miss that? Like, this is not
Oh,
the road.
oh
Wrong
my
road."
God. And Troy was walking around kissing everybody. And now if you go back to Atlanta, season 1, Aaron was the
Yes.
one. And Aaron was
Really?
driving me straight crazy. And it was my first season too. And I was like, look, I already got enough pressure on me trying to make sure we get through this and I do a good job. But Aaron was driving me straight crazy. So the trust me, there is no plant. The food just shows up. And then it starts to just shine, it starts to glow, and then this, the camera just finds it and says, "Uh-oh, there's the one. We got one."
Right.
And it makes good TV.
That is
We
so
watch every
true.
single week.
That's
So
right.
yeah,
No one.
there is no plant, baby girls. There is no plant. It's all
But
real.
that's good to know.
You
'cause
heard
we
it
don't
here.
want
No
plants
plan.
around here.
That's
That's right.
right.
The one thing the viewers always want to know is we see the first episode and we like, why are people eliminated so fast? Is there ever going to be a season where we do not eliminate on the first day? Maybe give them more time to make a better impression. I do think people feel like everyone may not be good with the mixers and mixing and mingling. Will
Right.
there ever be a longer time for them to try to see who's a better match besides that first day?
Let me tell you something. Every question you all are asking, I have asked as well. And I'm just gonna say that's above my pay grade. So I would love for them to mingle for at least 2 or 3 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least
But
a
and that
weekend.
first day is a shocker. But I think that's a part of television too. Is that shocker? It's like we're gonna weed out early who's not able to mingle good and get in the mix, and that's just that shocker at the beginning. And I just think that's part of jumping the show off. Is we're gonna jump you off with a shocker. Who's gonna and you on as a viewer are looking at it like, oh my God, I got 10 and 10. Who's the first to go? It's gonna be one male, one female, and you dialing in yourself trying to say, okay, she's not talking enough. She's gonna be up out of here in a minute. And
last season, y'all tricked us and put home 2 men. So y'all, it was a trick last season.
These
It's 2
curveballs.
men this time. Curveball.
Listen,
That was cute.
I got a curveball Friday night. You're not gonna believe. Now,
Well, we ready.
We saw the preview.
We ready.
Like, if we didn't seen these people before, okay, like
I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad
it
at
depends on who. It depends on who, because some people is just like,
So let me ask you this then, and I'm not trying to interview y'all. I know y'all are interviewing me. So let me ask this. So what about Houston? Were y'all cool when Chris came back?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Because
The
we
way
feel
they
like
did him, absolutely.
yes, he deserved, that. He deserved that.
Absolutely. He was ready to
Chris was fooled last season because it really seemed like he who was her name? Was it Nia?
It was
Nia. No, Chris.
Naya.
It was Chris
Naya.
and Naya.
Naya
really did make it seem like her and Chris had a great bond.
Right.
They were connecting.
Right.
And so when it flipped, it was. I was like, did we miss something?
Right.
Exactly.
So he really got the short end last season. So to see him come back in last season, and then him connected with Amber, and that working on how it worked out, it was a great thing. That's what the show was about. But I was happy to see Chris come back.
He and Amber are still locked up. That's good.
Yes.
Oh,
Love
really?
Glad.
Yeah.
Love
I
to
did
see
not
it.
know that.
I'm so happy to hear that because I really did like both of them. That also makes me think that Naya and Camille are the same. Like,
Ooh.
I
I
don't
was
know.
comparing Camille to
With
Denise.
Cornelius.
So, wait. Nisa, what'd you say?
I was comparing Camille to Denise. To
Boy,
me.
that Denise was something else, boy.
Ooh.
Okay. Ooh.
her
Yes.
too.
I,
Her
okay.
too.
I see that one. Yeah, I see that
Yes.
Because
Yes.
Denise was more jealous, whereas I think Camille does seem possessive, but it's so fast. It's like,
She jumped off the porch. She
yeah,
didn't give
so
it no
it's
chance.
one. She's
concerning.
still
I
jumping
think
off the porch, girl. Still
Yeah.
just
Well,
jumping.
and you know what you got to look at too, because you have to look at. I'm always looking, geographically, because Camille is New York. They go 0 to 60 sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you got to
Yeah.
keep in mind, we talking about Houston is that southern flair where it might be a little bit slow boogie at times. So it's different personalities, and you guys about to see some. But man, listen, Friday night is a curveball, y'all. Lord have mercy. Let me tell you something. I was there, and I'm gonna be watching Friday. I was already there.
Ooh.
I'm not
can't
I'm
wait.
excited.
I'm not gonna miss Friday.
I'm gonna have my popcorn ready.
Please.
Exactly. So when it comes to the men of the show, sometimes they can make like missteps or mistakes when it comes to dealing with the women. How are you holding them accountable from season to season?
You know what? I have to keep these men in line. Now that I try to do more than the ladies, and that's because I want men to be men. If I see you stepping out of the boundaries and you're not being that, then I'm not going to tolerate it. If you got your ego on your shoulders and you can't handle a boss lady or a woman making more than you, then we need to have a conversation, brother, because you need to check yourself, because maybe this is the problem that you've been going through in your dating life, that you're not able to accept a woman that's balling way better than you are. Matter of fact, if you are able to get you a woman that's balling, maybe she will pull you up to where you want to be. All you got to do is ask for some help. And a lot of times pride gets in the way, and you don't want to you don't want to talk, you don't want to ask, you don't want to help somebody to help you get there. Everybody that's there has someone has helped them get to some plateau of getting to the next level. So why not ask one of these beautiful sisters, you know what, I got my own business, I'm struggling a little bit, how can I get to where you are, the way you're doing with your business? Why not? All you have to do is ask. Sometimes you got to lay that pride down. So whether it's that or how men go about dating, thinking about that dating should be this, or wanting this woman to be submissive to this and that. I got to pull all that out of these men and see where they are. So now I can see where all the bruises are, and the reason why you are and why you on this show. You on this show for a reason. So I got to pull back layers and figure out what's going on with you for us to get you to the next level.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to say something right quick about that. Really grateful to see that, like, in this setting, because there are so many times we're watching it as women and we're like, oh my God, like he did this. And then, y'all have the meeting and the first thing that Tommy's going to do is hey, so we heard this happen. What happened here?
Right.
And we always really appreciate that, because so many times, in what they call the manosphere online and all these different settings, it seems as if these types of behaviors are allowed and accepted. And for a lot of us, that is not okay. So it's greatly appreciated to see that.
And what I don't like is when they come in and sit down and talk to me and beat around the bush like they don't know what happened. Now you're not gonna give me the story, and surely somebody has given me the 411. So come in and shoot me straight and give it to me right, so we can, because the way she's explaining it and the way you're explaining it, nobody's explaining it the same. So let's get to the bottom and find out what the truth is, so we can move on.
I think a lot of that has happened because I know with last season with Venetia and
Joel.
Joel. Yeah, Visa and Joe. Even the season before that with Mario and the situation with him and Tandy. I think that sometimes we see things that happen on the show, and then the men kind of flip things over, and we're confused. Like, okay, the men really are doing things to make themselves seem more ready, and then the women are kind of left the short end of the stick. Is it ever addressed after the show airs how things could maybe went better?
Oh,
Yes.
it's always. I mean, I think on any show you're always going to regroup and try to see what can be done better, and what more can be exposed to the viewer. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you got to keep in mind. I mean, just because the camera turns off doesn't mean each person on the journey turns off.
Right.
There's a lot of things that, I mean, we try to capture as much as we can. But keep in mind at 2:00 in the morning when you making text messages and phone calls and FaceTime, and we're not seeing all of that. So now there's a whole connection growing over here that we didn't know nothing about. So then after a while, you see him get up and walk away from Tanya to be like, well, what the hell happened? Now you over here with Reba? What?
Right. What is
Yeah,
going
he's
on?
walking down the hall like Jay in Winter.
Oh,
Right.
walk of shame.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I have to reference like last season, and I'm so glad that you guys are doing the reunions, because when it's time for the sit down to let people know they're not ready to love, it was 2 people last season that irked me, and I was glad they made it to the reunion so that they could be checked by you or their counterparts, and that was David and Ron. I didn't like how they ended both of those. So I'm like, do they just get to end it the way they ended and nobody gets to talk to them? So I'm so glad that the reunions are happening so that people can be held accountable for their actions.
No, I like the reunions for the fact that those that think they skated out without being checked, you get to check them when it comes back around.
Yeah.
Love David to death. He's one of my boys here in Houston, Texas. But when it was time for I think it was Liz that was getting ready to eliminate him.
Right.
Him trying to overtalk her.
Right. Standing up.
Damn near finna run out on the camera. And you broke and ran because you don't want a man up and be eliminated. And I did not like that. Sometimes you know what you if you lose, you lose. And that's just it. You get eliminated, brother. And he did not want to accept that. Ron is a whole nother story because he just kept a lot of negativity going on. And what I don't like to see is gossiping men. That drives me crazy.
I have to agree.
That drives me crazy. So my thing is, if things didn't work out for you, if it doesn't mean that you're not gonna find love. It's just not love is just not on this journey right here for you right now. But it doesn't mean it's not out there. But don't damage yourself for later because you acted a fool right here. Now nobody wants to be on a journey with you.
Right, because you looked
right.
a little bit. Yeah. So speaking of that. Tyrone and Carrie this season.
Okay.
See, we're having a bit of a misunderstanding. Because I personally feel like this was Tyrone's fault. Because I feel like the way it was communicated last episode through Shiloh was that he did not communicate to Carrie in a nice way, basically. He just kind of abruptly dissed her and then went and talked about it with Shiloh. And it just seemed messed up. And then when they have this episode and he basically is making it seem like, well, I just wasn't interested in her anymore. And that's it. And why does she need to, ask me, why? And it was like, well, obviously you mishandled her, which is why there needed to be, an interaction. So what is your opinion on that?
Once again, men not knowing how to handle things, not knowing how to put things in order and say, okay, this is not someone that I'm interested in. Let me have a sit down and have a good discussion where I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but let me just say that there's no connection here with me. There's a way to do everything in opposed to making yourself look crazy. What I can tell you is keep watching. Keep watching.
Okay.
Yeah. That reminds me of Jay and Winter last season, how he kind of let Winter know that Joy was more who he was kind of feeling, but he wasn't rude with how he kind of let Winter down. Whereas with Tyrone and Carrie, he kind of just cut it off abruptly and then acted as if it wasn't issues. I do think seeing Jay and Winter I think it was last season, that I can see how he let her know, like, I like you, but I like Joy more, and I think that can sometimes be done that way.
And you know what? And it's all right. It's all right to let somebody know that you have a connection somewhere else. It's just how you do it, and how you sit down and have a conversation. Communication is everything. But if you want to just cut somebody off and treat them like they're nothing, then come on, man. How you gonna do this? So there's a level of respect that these men have to gain if you don't have that, and that's what I'm there for. My job is to say, hey, what are you doing? This is not the way we do it. We talking about beautiful Black women, and we're gonna treat every last one of them right, whether you all have a connection with them or not. That's the way it's gonna be when you over here rolling with me.
Agreed. So some of the viewers, because I like to be on Twitter while the show is on. Some of the viewers, they don't like the words "you are not ready to love." I noticed some of the gentlemen, at least the gentlemen, they handle it where they say, your guy isn't here at this time or at this moment. Right. So do you ever think the show would consider changing the phrase "you are not ready to love"?
Oh, Nisa, you be asking me questions above my pay grade, girl. So, I've heard this before, because I mean, we're talking about 20 people, so we're not talking about you're not ready to love. We're talking about you're not ready to love anybody that's here right now. I think it could be more defined the way you're talking about. But will they change it? Will they alter it? I have no idea. But I do completely understand it, because, come on, we're talking about a process of elimination of 20 people, 10 men, 10 women. So if I'm one of the guys and one of those 10 just isn't for me, that doesn't mean I'm not ready to love. It just means there's nobody over there I'm ready to love. So I think it could be worded different where you guys will accept it a lot, be a little bit more comfortable for you to accept.
I'm okay with it. Some of the people on the show are not ready to love. So I'm excited for that part, because I'm like, say it, tell them.
Right.
And the other times I love whenever they
how do we, that's a gray area though. How do we decide who gets you not ready to love?
Right.
Or we tell somebody, well, your loved one's not here right now. So we have to you know what I mean?
I think you're not ready to love at this time solidifies everything. Like, because that means at this time is also in this place.
Exactly.
Right. Yep.
So yeah.
It's all inclusive. So what is one elimination over these seasons that has shocked you the most? That you either did not see it coming, or just how it went down was shocking?
Ooh.
Because there's a few that I was like, oh, okay. With, bringing back Kyra last season after trying to send her home, and I think that was the most shocking for viewers, but you may have a different perspective because you're on the show.
I think that one kind of gave me a twist, because it was what's the little young lady's name? Alexis? No,
oh yeah, Alexis
and AJ when she was with AJ.
Yeah.
And then AJ was getting ready to eliminate Kyra.
Right.
And then he just changed his mind. Out of nowhere, just changed his mind. And then decided he was going to eliminate Alexis. So he and I had already had a conversation. I told him I would give him more time to think about it. And then he just flipped. And I just didn't see it coming. I thought that because he had basically decided he was going to get rid of Kyra, and just totally flipped it. That let me know I didn't have as much control as I thought, or didn't know as much as I thought. And every year there's one that'll throw me for a curve. I'll be like, really? And so it just changes. It changes throughout every season. I'm always shocked by at least one or two that's running off, and I'm like, oh my God, they're gone already. But it happens. Even sometimes my pick for the first day is completely just wrong, So
I'm surprised Corey's still here. We all thought Corey would go home day one. I'm like, what?
Another week
still here. So that's shocking viewers.
Yeah. Corey became a little charmer though. So keep watching him.
I'm gonna keep watching him. We're gonna see how this go.
I already
when he gave the flowers to Courtney.
It wasn't even the flowers, it was the hug he gave her after. Once he hugged her, his body language, I was just like, oh yeah, there it goes. And plus he's persistent. For a lot of women, any man that's showing up, not giving up, not taking themselves too seriously, and also not being all butthurt behind rejection, it's attractive. So even if he seems like lame or whatever, he's still trying and not taking himself too seriously, which is attractive. And then he's not afraid to try. He's not afraid to push up on you and kind of let that physicality thing happen. And sometimes with women, we kind of don't know how we feel about you until you put your arms around us. And we're like, oh, wait a minute now. Yeah. Yes. So I saw that when he hugged her after the flowers. And I was like,
And he's got determination. So he gonna keep that pressure going and keep it going until you like, Corey.
And then he's gonna make you ashamed that you did it.
I feel like Corey's the type of dude where a lot of women like him because, like you said, he's not afraid to embarrass himself. So the women, they're comfortable, like, you know what, he's not gonna play me. But then he's the type of dude that will shock you, and you're like, really? Why did I give him a chance?
Wow. Copy and paste. Copy and paste.
I see that.
You got it. You got it. You
Good
nailed
point
it.
there, Niecy. So I have a question regarding dating. What are some of the red flags that you would tell women to be on the lookout, or men to be on the lookout for immediately?
I mean, there's so many flags, you guys. It's so many because just the way we communicate is so different now. You know, I've been married 20 years. I've been knowing my wife for 30 something years. So I come from an era of me looking her in her face saying, hey, will you go out with me? Can I take you to the movie? It wasn't me picking up a phone and sending a message via text. It wasn't that, because everything gets so misconstrued. And I don't think love is in the text. I think it's there after you've already found it. But I think if you're searching for it at the beginning, I think we need more communication face to face, or pick up the phone and let's talk on the phone. I remember, when I was in high school, we were falling asleep on the phone. You know what I mean? But things have changed now. So I think communication is so big in a relationship. I always tell people that, listening and hearing is two different things. Yes. Two different things. I mean, you can hear a car way down the street, but my wife standing next to me, am I listening to her? Am I listening and hearing exactly what she's saying? And there's a difference between that. So I think communication is the one thing I can tell everybody to adhere to and try to get that involved in your relationship at the earliest. It's about communication. Boy, you see Daddy working. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's all right. Okay. Listen, we all at home right now, so we get it.
Right.
That's my little Louisville slugger. He's my little home run hitter. Say hello.
Hi. Oh, he's adorable.
That's your wife's twin.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Right? Oh my gosh, yes.
Yep.
Love it. Okay, so what couple comes to mind when you think of like a success story for the show?
The success story I thought was going to be, let me start with that first. I thought it was going to be Shay and Big Mike. That was the first season.
Yeah.
Those were.
I just saw him on the show.
I did too. I saw
All Black.
I saw a preview or something.
Yes.
I was like, go ahead, Mike, you're working. But yeah, I just thought him and Shay would have been a great, little power couple trying to make it work. She's a sister that's got her own business and she does her own thing and stands on her own. So I just thought they would be great together. And that didn't work out. It didn't work out the way we would write the story, but it really seems like Reva and Mario are really, really working out. They still together, and they still
Mario makes nuts. Yes.
Yeah,
as I like to call them.
Are they engaged?
They got engaged recently, I believe.
Yeah. So me, I'm over here waiting to see my first wedding bells from any one of my seasons. Please give me some wedding bells. But I want it to be right, and I want it to be longevity to it. So I'd rather wait if it's not right. Right. I'm over here hoping for it, but I want it to be legit.
Right. That's so funny because I thought you were going to say Liz and your boy from Jason from last season, because if there's anybody that seems to really, really be together, like, and then showing it, you know what I'm saying? Like they're actively, yeah.
And I'm praying for them. They are Liz was just such a beautiful person. Throughout the whole journey. Liz was just, an incredible young lady. I loved her classiness and how she handled everything throughout her journey. So I'm pulling for them. You know, I'm always watching them, you know, months and months afterwards, so I can like let me wait, make sure you really got it. And then I'll, you know, I want to be able to look 6 to 8 months down the line and see where you are, and then I can say, okay, they're gonna be all right.
Okay.
Yes. So last season we saw your wife co-hosting with you, and I was super excited to see that because I felt like the ladies needed somebody to talk to for sure.
Right.
So can we expect to see her on the show in the future, giving advice to the ladies?
I hope so. I think and I'm getting a lot of feedback that a lot of people liked it, and it felt good for her to be by, you know, me. I loved her being by my side and us working together, and for her to give that female perspective, you know, and how she's I mean, she told some of the ladies doing this, she said that's my husband. You know, it's some days I don't like him, but that's my husband. That don't mean I don't love him, you know, and because people look at us from the outside and think everything's peachy and cream, and for the most time it is. But I mean, you know, but we're human. We got some ups, some downs, some snares, some tears, and you know, places where it ain't been no carpet. You know how it go. So, but for the most part, that's my ride or die. You know, I tell everybody I got to die first because I don't want to live without her. It is what it is.
That's love right there.
For sure.
So I hope, you know, I hope the producers are listening and hearing the cry that the people would love to see my wife back on the show.
We would.
Absolutely.
There you go. So start one of them great petitions.
Please bring
we
her back.
want Jackie
I
back.
know.
That's
what
right.
we do.
The voice of the people.
We sure
There
do.
you go.
So we do know that Chris came back from one season. Now, do you guys, or do you think it'd be a good idea to either bring cast back, you know, from season to season, who maybe did not have the best time on the show for one reason or the other, or could we look forward to a season of all the singles who didn't make it, mixing and mingling, okay, on the island somewhere, okay, credit who made first, this is our idea.
That would be entertaining.
That would be a good idea, because a lot of the times I feel like some couples from one season could mix better with some couples from other seasons, and there's nothing wrong with long distance love. So what do you think about that?
Ooh, girl, you've been thinking. Okay.
In your business.
That's what she does.
You've been
I'm the business one in the head.
You know what? It's funny you bring this up because I've thought that. Well, here's what, and you guys tell me what you think. So yes, I think that would be great, and I think if we were to bring, okay, we're gonna bring these 4 from over here and these from over here and mix it all together. Yes. Here's what Tommy's thought was. I wanted to have a ready to love getaway. A weekend getaway, Thursday to Sunday, the same way you see Tom Joyner has his cruise thing. All right.
Yes.
So Nephew Tommy has a ready to love getaway. It's for singles, it's for couples, and so if love is in the air, you can come down. If you and your girlfriends want to come, that's cool. You and your man, that's cool. But it's just a whole weekend of just love is in the air. But everybody from every season of my show is there, mixing and mingling. Now that's the party you want to be at.
That's ratings gold, because so many people love so many different cast from different seasons, and to have, and that can be like a every season thing to see who can come and do what with who,
right?
You know, together.
Right. And let's get all that on camera, all that on tape.
I like that.
Ready to love getaway. Right. I'm thinking about it.
Question about your marriage. I know we just spoke about your wife. So I wanted to know, what is something about marriage that you learned only after getting married that you didn't know or like understand before, prior to getting married?
It takes hard work. It's not just you put this ring on and that's just it. It takes hard work. So, I mean, we still go out. We still go on dates. That's important. Dinner, out to dinner without the kids is important. Going on little mini vacations together, that's important. I was just in Washington, D.C. My wife was in North Carolina doing something, and we both flew to New York to go to a friend's wedding. And it's just little things like that to, putting up putting the work in and say, okay, let's meet there. and we'll have fun. We'll be able to do dinner and do this, do that. And it's just, love is always there. Staying in love is the work you have to put in. So we put the work in. I want to hurry home and go somewhere with her. I want, I'll pull her away. She ain't gonna like it, but come on, you're gonna hang out with me at my cigar bar with me and my boys. And we both come home.
Oh, I love that.
And then we both smell like smoke and damn near got to get undressed in the garage because we stink, but we having fun. And that's the key is we are having fun. Here's always been my motto is in a relationship, if you're not having fun, you are not doing it right. Let's just have fun. It's gonna be some things that we get upset about. I don't like this, I don't like that, and this bill, that bill, or this, and all that's gonna happen. That happens in regular everyday life with everybody. Let's not lose focus on us, and that's the key. I don't lose focus on us. That's my ride or die.
I love that. I'm well, technically newly married, so I appreciate. I say technically because we're about to be 5 years, but we've been together for like 10. So, it's so funny because it's like I'm a little bit of an old soul. So a lot of these things I understand. Right. And I know we don't have it 100%, figured out. We ain't been together long enough. But I swear it always feels like you have no idea until you do it. Like, no, you really have no idea the switch that happens, after.
Let me tell you something. So this I tell this to a lot of people. It's like we live together. Well, let me back up even further than that. So what you guys have to know is I'm an actor, so I was in Hollywood struggling, trying to make it. I was opening up for Luther. I was doing all kind of stuff. I was working my butt off, but my wife was, we met at Texas A&M University. She's an engineer, so she was solid. She sent me a vehicle so I could have a car to ride around in California. I had nothing. I ain't have nothing. So my wife carried the load until I got to a certain level. So now I don't want her carrying no load. She ain't got to work nowhere, and she don't. Now, if she want to go to work and get a job, cool. She can go do that. But you do not have to work no more at all because you carried the load for me for far too long. So now I'm manned up, and here I am carrying the load, and we all good. But it's
a beautiful thing.
To go back to what you were saying, we lived together in Dallas for a couple years before we got married, and there is a difference. There is a difference from when you are staying together to the day you put that ring on and now y'all married. I don't know what it is, but there is a difference, and it changes. It's not, we ain't just living together no more.
Right.
That's my wife now, and things just change. Things change, and I've seen people do it, and then they don't last. Right. I don't know what it is. I've seen people go 10 years, ain't never been married, been together forever, get married, and a year later they done broke up. You're like, what the heck is that about? So,
it's the gravity, I think.
Something changes. You just got to make sure it changes for the better.
Right. Absolutely. And it's so funny because I was just talking about this with my husband this morning. I was like, you're a smart dude, because there aren't a lot of men that can take my type of personality. But I also, like you say, your wife, held you down and all of that type of stuff. Like, I offer so much to my husband that it's almost like a person would really miss out on the blessing of what they have because they can't deal with a strong woman sometimes. And he was smart enough not to be that type of person, even though in this kind of, we in our 30s, but still we're in an era where a lot of guys don't seem to be able to understand how to be a man and then also allow for their woman to be like a full human being. They talk about the Jay-Z and Beyonce, but they don't really understand the type of man Jay-Z has to be for Beyonce to be Beyonce and vice versa.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's a real thing, and I'm glad that you said that about the way you guys' relationship has panned out, because that's what it's really about. Like, you take care of each other when it calls for, versus this idea that men are always supposed to be the ones doing everything. It's not always the case.
No, it's not. It's not. And I'm just grateful for who she was at the beginning, and that was, to me, that was like, let me reward her with. You don't have to do nothing else. You can if you want to, but man, I want you to chill out and just enjoy the ride. And she's doing it. But she done picked up Jack and Jill. She's an AKA. She's still doing a whole lot.
Right. Still be busy.
She's still staying busy. And I got to tell you this. So check this out. So most men come home and your wife done bought an expensive pair of shoes, right? Mm-hmm. Most men come home and your wife done bought some jewelry or something. No. I came home and my wife has bought a hotel.
I love it.
Come on.
A Hilton. You hear me?
What?
Okay.
So we are now proud investors of a Hilton property that's being built in Oxnard, California.
That is awesome.
Oh, that's my
congratulations.
That's my baby's new venture right there. I was like, okay, you just buying. That's what we do.
But
we buy hotels.
She bought you something that's gonna make y'all money. She didn't buy just a regular bag. So
yes,
we have to have her on next time for a conversation.
Okay, listen. So next time we're gonna have both of y'all on here.
I think
for real.
I think the biggest thing is we're now looking at generational wealth. What can we leave our kids that is going to take them to a whole nother level? And we have 3 kids, so I'm hoping to have where we leave each one of them their own business, and you got to run it. It's up to you to keep it going and take it to the next level for your kids.
That's amazing. So back to the show for a second.
Okay.
So what's a moment that was behind the scenes that like really shocked you?
Oh God, I think it would have to go to the first season, because that first season, nobody knew what to expect, what was going to happen with this show. The show took off, but the amount of time that went by from when the season stopped to the time where it was time now for a reunion, there was a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of social media activity going back and forth. So all of those contestants on there are saying everything that they want to say on the social media, and it's going bananas. So now it's time for the reunion. Woo! And it's like showtime. And I had no idea that it had built up. And there was a lot of animosity going on from certain characters on that journey that I did not know. And man, I was in there getting makeup put on, and I was like, what am I hearing? What is all that noise?
Explosions.
It was building and building. And it was about to explode. And I had no idea that it had gotten to that. And it had. And we were able to calm it down. We got through it. And I'm big on this show was about class to me. This show is not about, you're not finna throw no water on nobody. We're not finna do all of that. We're not finna be kicking and screaming. We finna sit down like grown men and grown women. We're gonna have this conversation. Whoever chose you, chose you. Whoever didn't. And that's how we're gonna walk out of here. We're gonna walk out of here like we got some class and we black and we proud. And I'm not gonna stand for it to be any of that. So from that point on, I made it my job that intensity will never happen again. But that's the behind the scene intensity you haven't seen and you never will see, but it'll never brew up like that on me no more.
Now from that, have y'all kind of tried to put, a cap on, hey, when we're not filming, let's keep everything off of social media? Have y'all learned from that to try to have the contestants know, hey, don't build up something that may ruin the show or that may ruin the relationships because y'all are now fussing on social media?
I think there's a certain level that you hold back, but you know what, Jay Lee, you can't hold it all back. They're gonna spit out what they want to spit out. They're gonna say what they want to say. It's gonna boil a little bit, but I think I cracked the whip early enough to where, like, come on, you're not gonna come up in here and act a fool with my show. I'm not gonna let it happen. I'm not losing my show.
Right, be adult.
Right.
No, this is
my shit.
This is for grown and sexy. Now, you want to go play, then you go over there and play on that other show or whatever other shows, and y'all can fight and pull hair, but we ain't doing
Get on that app. Yeah. So I have to say, throughout watching the show, you are respected definitely when it comes to giving relationship advice. On Instagram, we have Kevin Samuels, who gives relationship advice to women. They call in and he rates them a 1 through a 10 and tells them why they don't have a man. So what are your thoughts? Are you familiar, and what are your thoughts with the advice that he's giving women?
Is this the guy that did something happen with this gentleman?
Well, which time?
Well, which
some things have happened.
Which time?
Right. Women will call in and then they'll explain to him, I make this much money. I'm this tall. I weigh this much. And then he'll say, well, what do you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10?
And it can't be a 6.
Yes, it can't be a 6. And then it can't be a 7 or 8 because he says Beyonce is an 8, I think, or something like that.
Beyonce's an 8?
That's what he says. Yeah. Right. I know. And he says, well, this is why you don't have a man. You're only a 4, but you want a man that makes 6 figures, but you need to settle for this. Like, he's very opinionated. So I was wondering if you were familiar.
But I you know, not knowing this brother at all, I think I've heard of this brother. But here's my take on this. I think there's you can't just judge a person by asking them for a particular number, and that just gives you the whole 411 on somebody and telling them that, okay, you're not a 6, you're not a 7 because Beyonce is only an 8. I mean, what Richter scale does he have, and how does he measure it up, and how does he measure up on his own scale? You know what I'm saying? So you can't. I don't think you can judge it this way. I think you have to judge each person individually, and it can't be just a numbers game. You know, love is not arithmetic. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Yeah, I'd have to listen to a particular scenario that he would give somebody for me to be able to give a clear rebuttal on it.
Oh, you and Steve could have a whole field day just reading him down. If y'all would just hear one of his, that may be a good segment on this morning show. Is y'all responding to something he may say? But separate from that, you know, there's been a lot of chatter of people commenting on Will and Jada's marriage, you know, and things they have came out and said or this or that. And it seems like recently a lot of people are judging Jada based on her on Red Hat Will Talk, or just judging women. Do you think there is a reason for a backlash towards a woman who was being more honest about things going on in their marriage? Whereas when a man may come out with his truths, as Will has, other men have, there's not as much judgment for the man and more judgment for the woman. Do you think there's a reason people try to always backlash when the woman's just being honest about what has happened in their relationship or marriage?
You know what? I think I think once you open up the jar and decide to let the whole world in, that to me is the first uneasiness to me, that you let the whole world in on whatever's going on in your house behind closed doors. You decided to let everyone in, but I don't think you can judge the female more than you're judging the male. I think it has to be an equal balance. You have to judge it the same. You have to say, okay, this person is doing this one and this one's doing that. You know, how do you all rectify you all situation? I don't think we as the world can fix Jada and Will. I think Jada and Will have to fix each other. I think they have to sit down and hold hands and say, okay, let's fix our problem. This is not for the whole world to try to send us a social media notice on how we need to do things. I think they have to do it themselves. I don't, if I have problems in my relationship, I don't want the whole world trying to fix it. I think I want to sit down with my wife and say, okay, what have we done wrong? Let's just backtrack. We were good right here. Now let's pick up from here and figure out, okay, now what went wrong? And let's try to put our pieces back together. But when you when you let the whole world in and say, this is what we got going on in our house, well, now you just removed the whole wall out your house and let everybody look in. And here it is, So, but I will not judge. I will not judge Jada, and I will not judge Will, and I will not judge one more than the other one. All I can say is, man, y'all sit down and talk this out and see if y'all can get through it. Y'all got a beautiful family, but let's fix it. If there's something wrong or nobody's not feeling right about it, then we can't have a $20 million house walking past each other and ain't speaking. Come on, man. We got to fix this.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure it's big enough where we don't have to pass each other. We don't want to, but why are we doing that? Let's fix our problem.
Yeah, I don't even know if I feel like it's that they have a problem, more so as people, because this is what I feel like. I think that a lot of men don't like the fact that Will didn't throw his marriage away once Jada's situation was found out. Because he even said, hey, I've had my things in the past. We weren't together. They explained everything on Red Table Talk a while back with the August Alsina situation. And I feel like ever since then, people have been like, even this morning, one of the reality show guys is like, I want a wife, but I don't want a wife like Jada. And it's like, dude, you abandoned your daughter. Like, you need to focus on that. like focus on that, because Jada and Will are taking care of their kids. Are you? You know what I'm saying? So it's just, to me, I feel like there's this energy that we want to judge women so harshly for the same behavior. And then we get mad kind of at men because they don't act how we think they should act. Like, Will should have just been like, throw her away. It's over. That's how he shouldn't. Because he didn't respond that way. It seems like they're like, well, I don't want no Jada.
Yeah, but you know what? Will knows what Will has done too. So Will understands. Will knows, and then we don't know the type of relationship that they have.
Right.
So if they have this quote unquote open or whatever type of relationship that is, that's something that we don't know anything about. But when you sit down at Red Table Talk and decide that we're gonna open up this for discussion, now the whole world knows about it. Now everybody wants to judge the way they want to judge. That's the thing. Once we decide to expose all of it, here it is. Now we got to take it the way it's gonna come, because it's gonna come 1,000 different ways.
True. I mean, this ain't their first one, because people been saying stuff ever since they've been together. So I'm sure they're over there in their, mansion doing just fine. Like, I seen Jada got somebody to helicopter, a package to her. I was just like, what kind of baller ass shit is this? So, I'm sure they're sure they're great.
My wife can buy a Hilton, but she better not. No helicopter better not land in my backyard.
That's next. That's next.
That's right. They're gonna own the whole helicopter company, okay?
Amazon helicopter, drop the package down wherever I am.
Wow.
Well, Nephew Tommy, we definitely thank you so much for your time. We do want to close this interview out with you letting us know about this grits company that you started, as well as anything else that you have going on and coming up for us. Let us know.
All right, let me tell you what I got. Let's see. So Just Good Grits. It's called Just Good Grits, and it's spelled GRITZ.com. Just Good Grits. And I collaborated with a buddy of mine. We came up with seasoned grits. They are flavored, and I don't know if you beautiful ladies eat grits, but let me tell you, I'm a Southern boy.
I'm from New Orleans.
I do. Yes. Okay. I'm from Alabama, so
okay, we good. I can talk to country folk. So listen, So these grits, I would not put my face or my name on these grits if they were not good. Once you taste these grits, matter of fact, Bonnie Blue, check this out. A buddy of mine just had me do a podcast in New York. All right, he's out of New Orleans. He said, I want you to bring your grits with you. So I bring the grits. They bring a chef in to cook the grits up. And this boy from New Orleans put his mouth on these grits and said, oh, now, baby. Oh, yeah. I'm telling you.
He hit you with a baby?
He hit me with a baby. He said, bruh, you got something here. And I swear to you, the very next weekend, he sent me a picture. He had already ordered 8 boxes of those grits. He says, Tommy, you don't understand. I fell in love with these grits, man. So I'm telling you, y'all, trust me, just get grits, just good grits. Bonnie, you're going to like spicy love. Spicy love. It's got a little kick to it, all right? So
because I like sugar in my grits. Let me.
Okay, so watch this. So I have 3 different flavors, and the third flavor is sweet and sassy. That's the one that's getting ready to come out in the next 6 weeks. So I have a savory one that's nice, got some seasoning to it, good. I got a spicy one, and then I got that sugar kick. So, and that's that sweet and sassy. I got 3 different flavors. go to
Let's
justgoodgrits.com, GRITZ.com.
Let me go.
Get you some
Let me go
grits.
to Just Good Grits.
Like,
Put that,
ooh,
that link in the description box.
with a lot of butter.
Please.
And we'll be dropping it down below, guys.
There you go. And check this out. They took Uncle Ben off the shelf, but here come Nephew Tommy. You hear me?
I know
Okay.
that's
Won't he do
Get
it?
into it. Get into it.
Yes.
Get
We here
into
for
it.
it.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
It
Thank
was
you
great
so
to have
much.
you.
Y'all make sure y'all go out there and get Nephew Tommy grits now. Continue to support. Ready to Love will be on this Friday. He said it's going to be blowing our minds. So make sure that everybody is tuned in so that we can talk about it later. Okay. Thank you so much for the time, Nephew Tommy. And we will catch you next time.
All right. Y'all take care.
All
You
right.
too.
No.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining the Ooh Ladies First panel as we interviewed Nephew Tommy. We hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to follow us on social media at Ooh Ladies First panel. Email us if you have any questions or you would like to be interviewed at oohladiesfirstpanel@gmail.com. Be sure to follow Bondi, Jamie, Jaylee, Nisi on all social media platforms. Thanks, guys. Bye.